Liv, so good to have you back. What was this action to those
I was just checking I looked good.
making sure the light's right? No.
It was a bit too close, but the light is fine. I feel like, oh, summer shine is
Oh
coming.
yeah, no, good to have you back. Good to have a chat with you again. What's the heart?
Oh, real talk, my therapy sesh. Hey, everyone.
So,
Um,
what's been keeping you busy? Talk to me.
I'm not as invincible as I thought. I got COVID and did not plan it overly well or coordinate
Mm.
very well with my family because I decided to get it and get it really well. Like, was actually quite
Oh,
sick. But no
oh,
one else got it until 7 days later. So just
oh,
as I was coming out, Harry got it.
oh,
Uh, Mark and Tommy thankfully escaped it, but
oh.
as any parent would appreciate, when you don't do it together, having
Mm.
a couple of weeks at home, tag teaming,
Oh.
not fun, not
So
fun.
what do you do? Because okay, so you just had it. So were you responsible then for Harry, the little 2-year-old, and to look caring for him?
Yeah, so that was just the annoying thing, right? Like,
Mm.
taking time off work, I was sick, that was fine. You kind of just deal with it, but then to not be able to get out of the house, well, obviously I could leave once I was past
Yeah.
my period, but then to just have Harry at home and him not being able to go to daycare, and he was super sick too, so it was just friggin' annoying. But I
Oh,
feel like the sun is shining. We've made it, people. All of these bugs that have been so torturous for just about every single family, we made it. It's a distant memory now.
now we just need to not fracture bones, which is what's happening right
Oh, yes.
now.
Tell us all.
Oh God, I feel like yeah, it's one thing after another, isn't it? If it's not COVID, it's gastro. If it's not gastro, it's someone breaks
Oh,
something. So basically,
oh,
my reality for the last 2 weeks has been, yeah, so the boys decided to be acrobats. I think they were trying to like climb on the cart and then like jump off it or something. I don't know. 4-year-old Noah was trying to rehash to me exactly how his brother fractured his leg because I was not in the room. But long story short, I think, yeah, Charlie's like, the 2-year-old's kind of gotten up on the cot. Noah, the 4-year-old, slammed into him, and then Charlie has fallen back onto his leg. Okay, so I feel like this is so second child kind of parenthood behavior. But like, I was like, "Oh, you're right, mate. Get up. You'll be
you'll be
fine."
right, mate.
He's
Yeah,
like,
harden up, harden
he's
up.
like
Here's a
screaming, and
lollipop. You'll be right.
he's screaming, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe like that's a pretty next level scream. And I'm like, I move his
Oh,
foot
poor
and I move his
darling.
knee, and I'm like, no, neither are like making him jolt, with pain. And so I was like, I reckon, maybe he's just really tired. So we just kind of, gave him a bit of milk and like, I don't know, bad parent over here, but like just come out, like put them to bed, and we're like, okay. Then the next morning we wake up and he can't bear any weight on that leg. And I went, oh dear, now we're dealing with something a little bit more serious than what I'd sort of hoped for. So yeah, just a bloody nightmare to be honest. So we went to the Austin. They put a cast on him, and then and the 2-year-old, they don't have crutches. It's not like they can still move around. So you're carrying them everywhere, right? Can you
Oh, and I
imagine?
bet he's bum shuffling.
The bum
Is
shuffling,
he,
like oh,
is he
but like
starting to get creative with his strategies to
big
get across the
time,
room?
big
Yeah.
time. It's amazing how like yeah,
Oh,
like nimble they can be when they want to.
yeah.
He's two
Yeah.
weeks in. He's got the cast now for another 3 weeks, according to the specialist that I saw this
Mm.
week. And they've kind of like redone it, the cast, and like kind of put it all the way down to his foot now because they were feeling like that he wasn't recovering as quickly as he could have been. And so, but the light at the end of the tunnel is he went to daycare for the first time on yesterday, on Friday, which was just a godsend because he was
Oh,
comfortable enough now with the new cast, and he was kind of like missing his
mm.
friends and bum shuffling along and sort of semi crawling too. That I just took him, and he lasted the whole day, and he loved it. So, and
How have you been coping? Have you been taking him out to site for work, or have you
oh
just
well,
been juggling? Like, I
so
bet
I
it's been a
just
nightmare.
Oh, it's a nightmare. So for those listening, I'm in property development and construction. And so I just couldn't risk taking him to site because he would have had
Mm.
to sit on sawdust,
Yeah.
while
Yeah.
there's machinery everywhere. So I've just
Yeah.
fortunately, like I took a week off working from home. And then I finally said to Jules, like, mate, hubby, you're going to have to take a day or two off here because this is too much on me. So, you know, God bless him. He did 2 days at home as well. And we've sort of juggled it that way, but it's been so testing on everyone in the household. The good thing now is that no one knows not to jump on the couch, not to jump on a bed, because he's like, oh yeah, because I used to be like, don't jump on the couch, don't jump on the bed, you can fall over and break your leg. And then that happened.
You don't want to go to hospital. Tommy's terrified of hospital. I have no idea why. It's not like we've been, but I threaten hospital all the time, and then that's enough.
Yeah, okay. It hadn't been enough for us, but now it is enough because no one.
Now it will be. Yeah.
I see where you're coming from here, but yeah. Anyway, long story short, it's just we'll get there. But for those of you, and look, to be honest, I thought, Jesus, what a privileged situation to only have, you know, limited amount of time in which my child's not mobile. I mean, imagine the parents out there who are dealing with this on an ongoing basis, or you know. It's just, you know, so you kind of perspectively only, but still it has been quite difficult.
Yeah. 100%.
So we thought today we would have a bit of a chat about weird shit that our toddlers are doing. So basically we did an episode a while back. Everyone go, I should have probably pulled up the episode, but we did do one called Does Your Toddler Do This Too? Where we reeled off a couple of weird things that our toddlers are up to. And now our toddlers are nearly four, nearly two, call it. Yeah. So I thought we should do a little bit of an update on the weird shenanigans that we're experiencing in our households. So,
oh my gosh.
Talk to me.
Well, the last time I think we recorded, I think I was telling everyone about Tommy's pocket fetish. So he would only wear hoodie jumpers with pockets. I'm really pleased to say we're through that. And it's so nice thinking about that with a second child now that Harry's started to do some really batshit crazy stuff. He only likes to wear the same top. So I'm constantly washing this weird, like, Next brand, really plain grey long sleeve top that's got a helicopter with a crocodile flying it. Like, he just thinks it's the best thing ever. Anytime I try and put something else on him, he screams blue bloody murder. So half the time he's just not wearing a top now because it's dirty. He can't wear it. So sorry, mate. What's Tommy's thing now? Tommy's thing is costumes. He's maybe got a bit of his mum's theatrics about him. He, I've told everyone before, he's quite a shy, considered kid. But boy, put a costume on and he becomes the real Batman, the real Spider-Man, the real construction worker. But the problem is, mums, dads, help me out. He'll only wear the costume for 30 seconds. Then he has to put the next costume on. So if we're working from home, he'll just keep bringing them in. I'm like, mate, so I have one hack. I've started an alarm. You know, he has to wear it for 5 minutes. The timer counts down before he can put his next costume on.
Yeah. Does he get it with the alarm? Like, does that register for him?
Yeah. Everything's 5 minutes. So 5 more minutes for this, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Although we were at the park before, I said 5 more minutes. He said 60 minutes. And I was like, what? Where did you get 60 minutes from? No chance, boy.
It's like
the timer countdown has been an awesome hack for anything that we are starting to fight about. And parent hack here, just put it at 1 minute. They don't know the difference.
They're just
5 minutes. That was 5 minutes, mate.
Yeah.
I don't have time for 5 minutes. I got 1 minute. Let's go.
So he'll wait and he'll understand that when it starts going off, that it's time to go or move on to the next.
Yeah. Move on to the next task or time to leave the park or whatever it is that we're negotiating on, because as anyone with a toddler knows, that every single thing is a negotiation.
Absolutely. Life as toddler parents. Oh my God, that is hilarious. What is with your children and like particularities around like clothes? Like
they're very, and Harry is so like, you know, the top. But even some pants, like pants that he's worn for the last 6 months, he now refuses to wear. Like anything, like everyone will know, I love stripes. Like my kids are constantly in blue and white stripes. Like I think it's because I'm a Geelong supporter. I think I've decided. Like it's just like in my
in the blood
mind. Anyway, no, won't wear it. has to just wear block colours and screams and screams and screams and will take it off. Like, it's just mad. So, and if Tommy's at daycare and Harry's at home, Harry will go into Tommy's room and put Tommy's clothes on. It's strange.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Very strange. He's a strange cat.
My kiddos are not that. I'm like just whacking things on them in the morning. They're like, yeah, whatever. I just want to, go play with my Lego now, Mum. Like, it's so like, but hey, they change every day, don't they? So, it brings some good
their quirks, these kids.
Yeah, right.
What are your two up to?
Okay, so I want to know before I embark on this story, have your children done anything like, drink or take anything that's like not good for them? Like, we're talking, too much.
Like a sip out of my wine glass? Is that where you're going with
that
this?
Too. Anything a little bit, on that level, or not quite so much?
No. I know of. I mean, wouldn't surprise me if they're doing it without me knowing. I reckon they've already wised up that I often come back into the kitchen and there's a whole lot of rustling and like, gotcha moments. I'm like, what are you doing? Get out of there.
Yeah. So
do you have a story, Liv?
Okay, so yes, there was a moment of like silence in the house, and I thought, this is fucking bliss. And then I was like, no, actually something's up. So they're in the bedroom, like rustling around, as you said. And so I open the door and they're both like, and then they drop the bottle of, that, is it, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but the Proserpine cough medicine. It's like you can buy over the counter. Oh, not over. Right? Yeah, the stuff you can just purchase from the pharmacy. They loved the taste of it. Yeah. And it was sitting on top of my like tall boy kind of cabinets, right? I put it up there and I was like, oh, that's so high up, they're not going to get to it. Somehow they were, being acrobats on the cot once more. This was a few months ago, actually. And Noah's reached for the cough medicine, managed to unscrew the lid and neck the whole bottle. So they've dropped the bottle. I don't know if he's given some to Charlie and they're sharing. I'm like, oh my God.
How is this the first time I've heard this story? Oh my God. My ritual face is in my palm right now. Like, what?
I was like, okay, so I'm
what did you do? Poison hotline.
Okay, hotline, right? So I'm like shaking, like Jules is, and Noah's like happy as Larry. He's like, that was really yum, Mum. And Charlie's like sniggering, thinking it was hilarious. No one's understanding the sense of urgency other than Jules and myself. So Jules is with the kids. I'm like calling the hotline and they're like, I'm like, no, it's the cough medicine. Yeah, he drank the whole bottle. Yeah, it was virtually full. And the nurse is like, has he any symptoms and reeling off symptoms? I'm like, he's like, they're skipping around. Jules,
giggling, like, sugar high.
And I was like, no, he seems pretty happy to me. Long story short, they got me onto this other, I was forwarded to this special hotline to do with like medicines and stuff. And they said that is actually just full of a lot of like sugary stuff. And that really, they'd probably experience a bit of diarrhea from it, but that would be the end of it. No need to see the doctor. It's like, thank God. So for you out there who are giving your kid that cough medicine, it's Prospin, I think. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Don't freak out if they drink the whole bottle because my kid's still alive. So, but like a moment of like,
how terrifying!
Yeah,
that's really. So, are all the medicines under lock and key now?
Now I don't even have, and literally talking about like that tall boy cabinet that we have in their room. I had this beautiful. I was gifted this sort of George Jensen money box, which I'd put coins in, right? So it's nice and heavy, and it's like that kind of stainless steel. And there was one time, again, acrobats, and this was before the cough medicine incident, that Noah goes up there to grab the money box. It falls literally about 3 centimeters from the tall boy to the ground, 3 centimeters from Charlie, who was on the ground just under the tall boy. Now, had that hit his head, we would have been having a very different discussion. Like, and at that point I went, okay, nothing sits on this like cabinet other than, every now and then like a medicine bottle or something. But now we don't even put that up there. It's completely bare other than actually Sam the sheep, the little light torch thing that we put it like that sits up there and they don't seem too preoccupied by it. But you've just got to be so careful. Like these kids are going to get into everything.
They're
So
climbers and they're into it. And it's almost like they know or they can't see and they want to get up there, not thinking
yeah.
that they're being naughty or going to hurt themselves
Oh,
or,
like
yeah.
crazy stuff. So I just, and it's so easy. Like I'm sure there's so many stories out there of, oh, my kid, drank the dishwashing liquid, or my kid, so all this stuff, it's like lock and
I
key.
never realised how, unsafe dishwashing tablets are. So, like, I've always had them under our
Under
sink,
the sink,
right?
the same.
And if the boys were to get into that and, suck on
Imagine.
one, like, that's deadly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
they're little things. And, I caught myself saying, this months ago, oh, they never open it. Like, it's fine,
Yeah.
it's fine. But you just
Yeah.
got to catch yourself and go, it takes one time,
That's right.
and that's it.
That's
Like,
right.
you just, yeah.
Oh, you got to be so
For the
like,
sake of cleaning and moving things around and a bit of inconvenience when you're trying to get it down each time,
yeah.
it's a
Oh,
no-brainer.
100%. I had another one. Okay, so because in preparation for this, I was like, I'm going to write down a few funny things. Like, it's funny, like we go through our lives, just like, just the chaos that is, parenthood. And then, like, as soon as I was mindful of this episode, I'm like, I'm going to jot a couple of things down. And there was just so much weird chaos that I'm like, oh, yeah, we just like have totally normalized this as just like another day in the life. Okay, so this one, I think
Hit
you'll
me.
appreciate this. So, okay, so I'm in the house. I'm like, I've got Charlie at home with me. This is before he fractured his leg, and but recently, and he kind of swaggers up the stairs, and I'm noticing he's got something in his fist, and he's swaggering up, and I see him, and I'm at the top of the stairs in our room doing some work. So I look over. He's coming towards me. He's like so proud, like proud as punch. Mom, and I'm like, oh, what have you got there, Charlie? And he's like, look, and he like puts his fist in front of me, and I'm like, is that Play-Doh? And then I'm like, that doesn't look like Play-Doh. And then I look
What goes on in
and
that house? I know what you're about to say. Oh my God.
his nappy is off. And he's like,
Oh,
look. And I
look,
was like,
mummy, a
that is a
big
fistful of
log.
poo. And because he'd walked all the way up the stairs, he dropped some across the staircase in a trail all the way up through the carpet to get to me to show me the goods. And I just went, are you joking, child? And he was so happy. And I was like, okay, I was like, I don't even know where to start with this. Can we just like get someone to sub in and deal with this for me? Because I just can't right now.
You in the shower, don't move. Like, what do you even do?
And so like
Gross.
Noah, bless him, the 4-year-old is like, I'm like, Noah, you'll never guess what happened.
I hope Jules was home and you just like could
No, he
delegate
wasn't.
that task.
He wasn't. So I had Noah, the 4-year-old. I'm like, Noah, you're on poo watch. Go up the stairs and show me where all the poo is. So he's trying to find trails of poo, and I'm trying to find. And Charlie's in the shower, and I'm just like, we need to make sure this does not become a habit, because
How long ago was this, out of
literally
interest?
3 weeks ago. Like
it's really interesting. Like second child, like Harry's doing this too. Like taking his nappy off. He wants to wee or do his number twos in the toilet like Tommy. Like, and I reckon I'm not too far away from this kind of incident too. Like, loves the idea of nappy off and being
like
a big boy. That's
just being a
terrifying.
big.
You're not ready, mate. You've got no control over this.
It's true though, because Charlie's the same. You always point to the toilet and be like, "Oh, can I? Like, I want to use it."
Yeah.
Actually, finally, so I did this bonds campaign recently, with Noah, my 4-year-old, and it's a parents group, right? And so they basically interviewed us for an hour about lots of different topics, including the poo topic, right? So anyway, they've interviewed, I don't know, 10 parents in total, and every week they are doing a reel on Instagram and social media with like clips of parents' responses about a topic. So anyway, they recently published one about poo, and it only came out recently, so I was watching it, and okay, get this for a story. So one of the mums has twins, and she goes, my weirdest poo story, okay, yeah, it would have to be the time when the twins were out the backyard. One of them took their nappy off, and the other one, and then the one was trying to do a number two, and the other one was like, I'll catch it. So trying to
I love poo stories. I could talk about poo stories all day.
Oh my God. oh my God, like life with twins or life with children, like what they come up with. Like you can't make this
Oh,
shit up. Like how hilarious is
kids love poo and farts and wee and as much as I do. I just love it.
oh,
Like,
it is crazy. Yeah.
bit
So
of toilet
anyway.
humor.
Oh, totally. Maybe it's a boy mum humor thing as well. I wonder if the girl mums are experiencing because that she had boys as well between mum. I don't know. I just hear
Right.
a lot from the boy mums, but I'm
Yeah,
sure girl mums probably have similar stories. I don't know.
I'm sure. I am very sure of that.
What else? Anything quirky that's happened in your household?
Oh, I mean, our household is probably as random as everybody else's. The
Yeah.
thing that just brings me so much joy at the moment is just bath time and the nudie dances.
Oh,
Uh,
so
you,
cute.
you just can imagine the two little boys just shaking their booty and really just getting acquainted with things that move
Yeah.
on their body. And I'm
Yeah.
like, where have you seen this? I hope you do this at kinder because they're going to be asking an awful lot of questions about your dad.
So cute and like
Oh,
so random because I didn't grow up with boys, yeah. So I've got two sisters. I know you've got a brother, but I've got two sisters. And really, I didn't have anything to do with boys till we were like, I don't know, lived like 16 when we started being like, all boys are actually alive and well, and maybe we want to kiss them. Like that was my experience with
yeah,
boys.
yeah,
And, like
yeah.
seeing little boys grow up is just mind blowing to me. I don't know. Like, did you experience this stuff with your brother? Do you remember, or is it all kind of new to
Do you
you?
know what has like really surprised me? Like how laddie some of the boys are. And by
Mm.
laddie, I kind of mean prankster, jokester, bit of
Mm.
banterish. Like Mark, when he goes to pick up Tommy from daycare, there's a couple of boys who'll be like, "Hey, Tommy's dad, you've got no hair. You're a bongo head." Like, what? I just think that's the funniest
Right,
thing.
a
And
truth
so
teller.
cheeky and naughty that
Yeah.
they, and then the Mark came home and he's like, "Oh, they said to me today." I said, "Oh, honey, you're probably going to need to talk to them. You're being bullied." The comment on last week was, "Hey, Tommy, your grandma's here." And Mark walked through the door. Oh my, hilarious, hilarious. I
Oh
don't
my
know. They've just chosen
God.
Mark and going
Yeah.
after him. They just know he's a soft target.
Bless
But yeah,
them.
really funny to just see this level of
Yeah.
humour starting to kind of play out at the age of 3.5, 4.
Isn't that
Just,
crazy? And like the confidence on them as well to like
oh
be
my
speaking up
goodness.
to an adult, like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
anything goes.
And
And
Tommy being, so kind, he's like, "That's not very nice. You have to be nice to my dad."
bless him. Speaking of friends, you mentioned this a few episodes back, and I'm experiencing this as well. The you're not my best friend, or you're my best
Oh,
friend kind of thing.
yeah,
Are you still experiencing this? Because I feel like this is
yeah.
like a toddler bit, yeah.
But the good news is I'm now Tommy's best friend. He says, "Mummy, you're my
Oh,
best friend." And
oh, that's
I'm very
the
happy to keep
boy.
the best friend language
Yeah,
going at this point. He, yeah, like that was really upsetting him at the time, when, his best friend, his bestie of all besties was saying, "You're not my best friend anymore. Like the other kid's my best
yeah.
friend."
And what do you do?
It seems to have settled a little bit, but
Yeah,
they still, and I was talking to another couple of mums about this too, and they were saying it's a real thing for them too.
yeah,
Yeah, they just try and find their territory and their friendship groups and yeah, their varying connections that are in and out. And yeah,
yeah.
they're definitely testing boundaries, that's for sure.
Oh,
And
100%.
you're not my best friend because you hit me today or you got me wet or
Yeah,
whatever it might be. Has Noah
yeah.
been upset about it?
Yeah, well, he's got a best friend at school, and and she's just beautiful. She's a little girl. And funnily enough, actually, I studied in China with her mum. For those listening, I
Oh,
studied
small
Chinese for a number
world.
of years. And so the mum and I studied at the same university when we did exchange. So we knew each other before the
Yeah,
school, and now our kids are best friends, which is really beautiful. But I'm
yeah,
just as much as possible trying to encourage Noah. I'm like, yeah, she's okay, she's your best friend, but like,
yeah,
who else can be your best friend, and maybe who else
yeah,
did you play with? And because for that reason, what if you can't control how children are, and I think it's important for them to have as many connections as possible.
Oh,
So
couldn't agree more.
you know,
Tommy is so I'll be like, did you play with so-and-so today? No, they're not my
Yeah,
best friend. And it breaks
yeah,
my heart that at
yes.
such a young age, like he has no interest. I mean, but it is the way that we build relationships. You connect with some people and you don't connect with
That's
others. And
right.
that starts from as young as probably one or two, really,
Yeah,
in terms of who you're connected to and form a bond with. But just this
100%.
adamant of, I'm not even going to talk to him, or he's not coming to my
Yeah,
party, or
yeah.
I just think, no, we got to knock that out of you quick, smart boy.
Oh, 100%. Because I remember a while ago, I know Tommy had a best friend, yeah, and they were inseparable. Is that still the case now?
Yeah, so they felt they did drift for a little bit,
Yeah.
which was probably the hard period that I was talking about, but they, have come back
Mm,
together. Tommy's a follower. He follows the louder, cheekier, more boisterous kids and
yes.
loves that and becomes
Yeah.
silly. But I think it was starting to get a bit too much for him, the louder, bigger personalities. And
Yeah.
his bestie is probably a similar personality to him. And they've just naturally kind of come back together. I think
Yeah.
it's a very safe friendship. They're just got similar energy.
Mm,
So
yeah.
yeah, they're back together.
Yeah, it is hard with children, and also just trying your best to kind of, reinforce, and try to guide them and steer them in the right direction. I know, Liv, even from your experience, your mum did a similar thing in your primary school years where she was like, oh, I don't know about this particular friend. I don't know if it, talk to us about that. Like,
Yeah, mum didn't like a couple of the friends that I had in probably grade 5, grade 6.
mm,
And rang the school and asked that, in the pre-planning of classes, probably going into grade 6, that I would be in a different class to that person.
yeah,
And, I look back on that and go, well, now I get it. I
yeah,
totally get it. And I can see
yeah.
why. I knew at the time because I used to listen in to all mum's phone calls. I'm sure so many of us used to do that, when you have to time the pickup at the same time. Mum would always talk to this one other mum and I'd be just fuming on the other end of the phone. She could probably hear me breathing and was
Yeah.
doing it deliberately just so I knew. Cunning as hell. But
Yeah.
yeah, you have to do, you always do what's right for your child, right?
Oh,
And, we're all
100%.
probably going to have to make similar phone calls or do similar
Yeah.
things to make
Yeah.
sure that they're surrounded by the right people because they're just so susceptible to
Oh,
learning different behaviors that might not be the ones that, we deem as suitable, or,
totally.
it'd
Like,
be a really challenging thing to navigate. I just keep
oh,
saying to Tommy, just back on he's not my best friend. I
yeah.
said, you're not going to be with all of these people. Like, you're going to community kindy, you're going to daycare,
Yeah.
you're going to go to a primary school in 2 years.
Yeah.
These kids are not going to your primary school, honey. Like, you're going
Yeah.
to have to meet new friends. We've got to start learning that now. You can't
Yeah.
be closed off. But
Oh,
it's a simple world for these 4-year-olds. They don't get that.
totally.
But,
No,
you just got to keep messaging the right values, don't you?
oh, 100%. Like to the point about, well, your experience as a child, I'd be the same with Noah. Like if I was noticing
Yeah.
that, oh, okay, I'm not, perhaps he was becoming friends with people that their values weren't aligned to mine or whatever it looks like, I
Yeah.
would be doing everything that I could just to kind of steer
Yeah.
him in what I believed was the better direction. You do what you can as a parent.
I will not hesitate to do the
No,
exact same thing as
no.
what, mum did. And I'm sure she probably did it, more than once.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just the
yeah.
once that I can really I can recall very vividly.
Yeah, yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's
Mm.
you do your best for your children. I actually asked a few people, just some friends what was some of the funny things their children did. So one of them, okay, so there's a one kid in Charlie's daycare who's he just absolutely loves. But I spoke to his mum more recently. She was like, oh, so yeah, crazy shit that my kid does. Where do I even begin? She goes, oh, did you hear about Max trying to actually flushing his closed down the toilet? And I went, at
What?
daycare? And I was like, wait, what? She's like,
Oh.
he was just ripping his clothes off and putting them in the toilet and trying to flush them
Oh
too.
my goodness.
I
Oh my
was like,
goodness.
classic toddler. Another one she said was, which is just like, she was like, oh, so, he was in the car, hubby was in the front driving, and, the window was down, and he kept just saying, shoe, hat, window, shoe, hat, window.
Oh
And
no,
I
he's
thought he was just saying like a bunch
picking
of
everything
words.
out.
Yeah. And then by the time they got home, he was like, hubby, dad comes out and goes, "Oh, where's your shoes?" And he's like, like the little one's just pointing out the window, being like, "Shoe, hat, window."
Oh my
It's
goodness.
like, I'm like, how do you not notice that your kid's just thrown a whole heap of stuff out your window? However, if you're
Worst nightmare.
concentrating
I'm
on the
always
road,
imagining that happen, like the
you could,
comforter.
yeah.
Imagine if the
Can you
comforter that
imagine?
you
Yeah,
can't buy because
yeah,
it's discontinued goes
yeah.
out the car window. That'd be like. Do you know the weird thing that Harry's doing at the moment?
Yeah.
He tries to French kiss everybody. His brother, his mum, his dad. He'll just come up and go straight on the lips. His favourite person to do it to is his brother, who just
Oh.
screams blue murder. It's very cute, but I'm also like, can you put that tongue away? Like, that does not need to go in my mouth, my ear, my nose, my eye, your brother's eye,
It's
anywhere on your brother's body.
oh my
Like, I don't know. Like, just keep your lips to yourself, mate. Like,
It might be. I feel like if we spoke to anyone about it, they'd be like, "Oh, that's a developmental milestone,"
I think
worry
it's
too much.
definitely a developmental milestone. Yes.
Everything appears to be a milestone these
Oh
days.
my
Um,
God.
oh God. But anyway, so leading up to Christmas, where this is for those listening, our final episode. Actually,
Oh,
we'll
it's
throw
a
one.
wrap.
Yeah, one more episode out after this one. But it's certainly our final Real Talk episode for the season. So, Liv, tell me, what are your plans for Christmas break?
Oh, this is just the best time of year, isn't it? Bit of
Oh,
Mariah, Christmas trees up, getting the
yes.
shopping done.
Yeah.
We're going to head back up to Queensland for a little bit, which
Oh,
I'm slightly nervous about, just given the temperamental weather we've all
yeah.
been experiencing on the eastern seaboard for a long time. So
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes. Otherwise, just beautiful family time. I'm taking, 3 to 4 weeks off work, which is just
Amazing.
going to be bliss.
Yeah.
I did it for the first time last year and just had a really good break. Took the kids out of daycare and just went to the beach and just spent time together before the year kicks off again and becomes mental. So
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
can't wait to just eat lots, drink lots, sit
Yeah.
on a sun lounge, hopefully read a book, maybe go for a run. I don't know. Like, we probably should pick up the running dialogue from like season 1 too.
Like it's like New Year's resolution, go for runs more again.
Yeah, I'm going to try 5K, catch 5K. I'm back. I will start it from 1 Jan, not a
Yeah.
day before. I will need to. What are you going to do? Beach?
So yeah, so we'll go to Warrnambool, where Jules's family's from, and then spend most of our time down in the Mornington Peninsula, which is where my parents have their place. And yeah, lots of family time too. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's been such a crazy year, with work, with the podcast, with so many things that are going on.
I still
Super.
can't believe we're here. Like,
Oh,
time, is it just going by quicker as we get older?
it
I don't know what
really
it is, but
is.
I honestly feel like I just unpacked, put the Christmas tree
Oh,
away before I
yes.
put it back up again. It's
Oh,
just
100%.
bananas.
Just hoping that, moving forward, this COVID business is, more and more behind us, and we can just continue to,
Yeah.
live our best lives.
Sorry, what did you say? COVID?
Yeah.
I don't know what. Like, I'm
What's
done.
that?
I'm
That's so
done.
old school.
What?
So vintage.
Oh
So
dear.
for those listening and who have been listening for to us, for our, I don't know, we're nearly at 65 episodes. Thank you so much for all of your support and for your engagement on social media as well. For those of you who may have just joined us, well, you have about 65 episodes worth of content to catch up on. So enjoy that over your Christmas break. But we certainly will be back red hot for season 5 in the new year. So really looking forward to it. And Liv and I will just continue to bring you more and more random stories.
Can't wait. Thank you for the therapy, guys.
We'll catch you guys later. See
Have a
ya.
great festive season. See you.